Imagine waking up every morning and facing a constant struggle for something as essential as water. In Peru, 29% of the population lives in poverty, and 3.3 million do not have access to drinking water. In Lima, for the last 12 years, progress in access to drinking water has stagnated at a worrying 90%. Families in peripheral settlements are forced to manage this resource in an insecure manner. It is time to act because water is life and every drop counts.
Hi, we are Brenda Huacaya and Leila Quevedo. We are anthropologists with experience in market research and social studies, and we proudly represent Peru with our project HidroRed, tejiendo redes para el agua.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buen día. Mi nombre es Marcia Luna y soy directora del programa Anemia Cero de Peruanos por Peruanos. Peruanos por Peruanos es una organización civil sin fines de lucro que busca cortar estas brechas a través de programas que ayuden a la población general del país. El primer programa que maneja Peruanos por Peruanos es el programa Anemia Cero, un programa que tiene como objetivo la reducción de la anemia a nivel nacional. Vamos arriba del 40% de anemia, así que llegamos junto a PEDIM para poder encontrar un equipo que pueda realizar una investigación del por qué el acceso al agua puede impactar o impacta en la salud. Investigación que nos hace mucha falta, ya que no es data que manejemos.
Our project is based on the lack of research on chronic dehydration in Peru and how it is linked to access to and consumption of safe drinking water in Peruvian households. The scarcity of drinking water not only limits consumption, but also exposes these communities to serious health risks and a chain of adverse effects on their daily lives. Therefore, our objective was to understand the situation in order to contribute to the design of strategies that guarantee safe and sufficient access to water, thus improving the quality of life of these people.
As anthropologists, we understand that effective research begins with immersion in people's realities and a deep understanding of their concerns. Therefore, we focused on exploring habits and attitudes about water access and consumption in the peripheral areas of southern Lima, such as San Juan de Miraflores, Villa El Salvador, Chorrillos, and Villa María del Triunfo. To achieve this, we conducted ethnographic studies that allowed us to explore the experiences and knowledge of key actors. We conducted in-depth interviews to capture daily dynamics and perception about water. In addition, we applied knowledge, attitudes, and practices surveys to obtain quantitative and qualitative data that can be tracked and compared over time. Finally, we launched 2 public opinion questions at the national level to place our findings in a broader context. The lack of concrete data on water consumption and dehydration in Peru represented an initial challenge. To fill this gap, we established strategic alliances with organizations working on related issues, thus enriching our perspective. Given the magnitude of the problem at the national level, we opted for a localized approach. Based on our previous experience and preliminary analysis, we selected the south of Lima as our starting point. This decision allowed us to address the problem in a more tangible way and to obtain quicker results. Understanding the limitations in access to public institutions, we initiated a dialogue with local authorities, seeking to build strong relationships and gradually scale up to higher levels of decision-making.
The results are clear. Access to drinking water and sewage is an immediate need for 81% of the population surveyed. As they are not connected to the public network, this lack deeply impacts their quality of life and health. Many families rely on tanker trucks whose water is questioned by 34% of respondents due to the visible residues and uncertainty about this origin. As a result, 95% of households in South Lima prefer to boil water, while 54% opt to use bottled water, 52% for chlorinated or disinfected water, and 40% for filtered water to ensure its consumption. These patterns coincide with finding at the national level, where 8 out of 10 Peruvians also boil water, reflecting a massive concern for quality. This problem not only affects the economy, but also generates serious health risks. The continued lack of water forces people to store the liquid in undrained containers, exposing family to diseases from contaminated water. The impact of health is significant. 50% of the population acknowledges that drinking unsafe water can cause stomach problems such as diarrhea and vomiting, while 38% report serious infections such as diarrhea, fever, or viral hepatitis. The lack of safe drinking water also prevents proper hygiene, contributing to unsanitary conditions in districts such as San Juan de Miraflores and Villa El Salvador, where access is irregular. The combination of a limited supply of drinking water and the absence of an adequate sanitation system severely affects the quality of life of inhabitants, increasing the incidence of diseases, especially among the more vulnerable groups such as children and the elderly.
We believe that every experience brings with it valuable learnings. In this sense, we were deeply inspired by observing the resilience and agency of the people living in these countries. We noticed that the community implements actions that, although they do not completely solve their needs, allow them to partially meet them. People come together to form support networks, establishing mechanisms such as water plants to bring water to the highest areas, organizing groups to fill tanks, and carrying out community cistern cleaning days. In addition, the role of communal cooking pots becomes an altruistic food source, allowing families to save money and access food. For us, hearing these stories firsthand and seeing how the community strengthens, grows, and develops together has been a source of inspiration to bring about change together with them. At the end of our research, we ask ourselves a key question. How can we ensure that these results really make a difference? We strongly believe that what we learn in the field needs to be turned into concrete actions for change. We identified that one of the areas of improvement was communication between institutions and the community. Therefore, we created a digital channel on Instagram that acts as a bridge, sharing the reality that we visualize and the progress of the entities. With that basis, it was time to take the next step, putting a proposal into action. We met the municipal representatives, such as the councilors of San Juan de Miraflores, and with key agencies such as Salud, Val, and the Ministry of Housing, Construction, and Sanitization. At these meetings, we shared our conclusions and had the opportunity to participate in the second United for Water and Sanitization Forum in Lima, where we signed a water pact committed to reducing the water gap by 6%.
But we did not stop there. We collaborate with other NGOs such as agua and este, which also address this issue. Together, we strengthen our research and improve the reliable decision making. In addition, we share experience with representatives of social organizations in different districts and regions of the country, joining forces to fight for access to water. In this way, we are transforming our research into concrete actions that can improve the lives of thousands of Peruvians. Our commitment is clear. We want to support every corner of the world, and together we will make and significant change.
At the end of the research, we considered it essential to draw the following conclusions. The lack of continuous and safe access to drinking water is a serious problem, especially for families living in poverty. They are forced to ration water, prioritizing its use for cooking and hygiene, which limits their adequate consumption and affects their health. This situation increases the risk of dehydration and diseases such as anemia. It is essential to develop public policies that reduce inequalities in access to water, with a priority focus on the most vulnerable populations. In this context, it is urgent to invest in infrastructure that improves both the quality and availability of water, complemented by educational programs that promote responsible water consumption.
Communities have demonstrated a strong organizational capacity to cope with water scarcity, highlighting the importance of local solutions. Strengthening community participation in the management of water service is key to ensure sustainable solutions adapted to local realities.
At HidroRed, we believe that everyone deserves access to quality drinking water and a dignified life. We will continue working to improve the reality of our country because el agua es vida, el agua es un derecho.
El agua es vida, el agua es un derecho.